There's a strange silence that follows after she pulls away. No texts, no calls, no reaction to your stories. It feels like she's erased you. But what if I told you that silence isn't disinterest? It's processing. You see, when a woman stops reaching out, most men panic. They assume they've been forgotten. So they start reaching harder. Messages, explanations, emotional proofs. But the truth is far colder and far more powerful. When a woman pulls back, her mind begins to wrestle with absence. And absence, when handled with discipline, becomes the loudest voice she'll ever hear. The Stoic man understands this. He doesn't chase the noise. He masters the pause. He knows that silence is not the end of attraction. It's the test of it. Every moment she spends wondering why you haven't broken first, she feels the slow burn of curiosity returning. That's how psychological gravity works. It's not about being seen. It's about being felt when you're no longer there. When you detach correctly, you become unforgettable because her emotions don't vanish. They recirculate. Every thought she tries to suppress finds its way back to you. Every conversation she has with someone else ends up comparing them to your calm. She checks your profile, rereads old texts, replays your tone in her head. Not because you said something special, but because you stopped saying anything at all. This video isn't about manipulation. It's about understanding the emotional mechanics of silence. You'll learn why space creates tension, why mystery revives desire, and how your restraint can turn her absence into her own obsession. You'll see how the man who stays composed when she withdraws gains more ground than the man who begs for clarity. Because women don't miss you when you remind them you exist. They miss you when your peace starts echoing louder than their noise. By the end of this video, you'll understand why she's quiet, why you should be quieter, and how that silence becomes your strongest form of influence. She's not reaching out, but her mind hasn't let you go. And when you master this art, you won't just make her think about you. You'll make her feel you in every silence she tries to escape. Before we start, a quick reminder. The real transformation doesn't happen on YouTube. It happens inside the community. If these videos have opened your eyes, what's inside will rebuild your mindset completely. It's not just a course. It's a brotherhood, a private space where men master attraction, emotional control, and the psychology of power. You don't join for a month. You join for life. Every future course, book, and lesson is yours forever. No subscriptions, no limits, just one decision that changes your direction. If you're serious about growth, discipline, and purpose, click the link below, join the community, enroll once, grow forever. Let's dive in. Section 1. The psychology of silence. Why her mind can't let go of what it can't reach. Silence is misunderstood. Most men see it as rejection. But in psychology, silence is one of the strongest emotional triggers a woman can experience. When you stop reaching out, her mind doesn't find peace. It finds space. And space is dangerous because the human brain hates unfinished stories. It starts filling in the blanks, replaying moments, searching for closure. That's when she begins to feel you again. Not because you're present, but because your absence demands explanation. When a woman pulls away, she expects you to react. She expects pursuit, reassurance, or at least proof that she still has control over your emotions. That's how most men fail, by confirming that her distance still dictates their behavior. But the Stoic man does something completely different. He embraces silence as strategy. He lets her uncertainty breathe, because in uncertainty, attraction doesn't die. It multiplies. You see, the mind can't stop thinking about what it doesn't fully understand. When you go quiet, she's forced to confront the question, why isn't he chasing me? That single thought becomes a seed of curiosity, then anxiety, then longing. the very silence she thought she wanted becomes the echo that keeps you in her head. This is the paradox of detachment. The less you seek validation, the more she starts validating your worth internally. Silence also flips the emotional dynamic. Before she had control, you were reacting, adjusting, explaining. But when you withdraw gracefully, she loses her grip on the narrative. She expected closure, but your calm leaves her suspended in emotional ambiguity. That's the moment her attraction reawakens, not through words, but through wonder. Because nothing haunts a woman more than a man she can't read anymore. The Stoic man doesn't weaponize silence, he disciplines it. He doesn't ghost or vanish with bitterness, he simply moves with peace. His energy shifts from proving his value to living it. And that quiet transformation speaks louder than any message could. When she sees you calm, detached, and focused, her mind can't reconcile the version of you she left with the version that no longer reacts. That internal conflict keeps you alive in her thoughts long after communication stops. Silence isn't about ignoring her. It's about returning to yourself. It's not punishment. It's presence. You're teaching her something her emotions won't forget, that peace doesn't tease chaos. And the longer you remain still, the louder your value becomes. So when she doesn't reach out, don't mistake it for forgetting. Understand that her silence is the beginning of reflection. You've become the thought she can't quiet, not because you fought for attention, but because you stopped saying anything at all. Because the truth is simple. People forget noise, but they always remember what they felt in the quiet. Section 2, the emotional echo. How distance turns absence into desire. When a woman stops hearing from you, she doesn't stop feeling you. What you must understand is that emotions have echoes. They linger long after words fade. Every moment of calm confidence, every measured pause, every silence that used to frustrate her, all of it stays imprinted in her emotional memory. The Stoic man knows that presence doesn't disappear when you walk away. It expands into the empty space she created. That's where the echo begins. In psychology, distance amplifies emotion. When someone loses access to a source of attention, their mind begins to overvalue it. It's called the scarcity effect. When you were always available, your energy was predictable. But when you pull back, your presence becomes rare. And rarity breeds obsession. She starts thinking about what you're doing, who you're seeing, whether you've stopped caring. And in that uncertainty, her emotions begin replaying every version of you she once felt connected to. This is where most men fail. They break the silence too early, chasing clarity instead of creating contrast. But the Stoic man understands that distance isn't punishment, it's perspective. It allows her to experience life without your energy and realize the difference it made. You don't remind her of your worth through words, you let her feel the lack of it. The emptiness she tried to create becomes the mirror that reflects your value back to her. Every thought she tries to suppress eventually rebounds. She'll tell herself she's moved on, she'll distract herself with others, she'll pretend to forget. But emotional bonds don't vanish. They fade slowly. And silence slows that fade even further. Because every quiet day becomes a small reminder. He's really gone. And the more she tries to convince herself she's fine, the more that echo grows. What amplifies the echo even more is your composure. When you don't chase, when you don't try to prove, when you continue to move with focus and calm energy, her emotions start to shift. You're no longer the man she assumed she could control. You've become something rarer, the man who doesn't flinch. And nothing triggers reflection in a woman like realizing she lost emotional influence over a man who once cared deeply. This is not manipulation. It's emotional gravity. The calmer you remain, the deeper your absence sinks into her consciousness. You're no longer fighting for attention. Your silence is doing the work for you. Every moment she tries to ignore you, she reinforces the pattern of thinking about you. That's how absence becomes desire. Not because she's lonely, but because she starts missing the peace that your presence once brought. Distance doesn't destroy attraction, it distills it. It filters out drama, ego, and performance, leaving only the essence of connection. And if that connection was real, it begins to echo louder in your absence than it ever did in your presence. Because silence, when mastered, doesn't erase emotion, it amplifies it. Section 3. The power of detachment. How letting go makes you irresistible. Detachment is the